Well, it seems I'm surprising myself after all. I might have something to do on the political thing for the evening. Ever since I got involved with the Site-C Dam, and my roots with that actually go back to when I actually worked for the BC Liberals and realized that I did not like them. One thing that's been coming up since last February, when I found, pretty much by coincidence, this little trivia. The thing called a Clean Energy Act, BC, signed June 10th, 2010. It basically limited our Crown Utility Corporation, BC Hydro, to Site-C. That's pretty much like it. The Site-C Dam is the only way you're getting more power, and if you need more power, you're getting Site-C. And theoretically, we'd actually had a chance to weigh in as the public about this abstract dam way up north while we're busy taking care of our own lives, everything else. Yeah, we had a couple years, sure. That doesn't count for crap. I tried to tell you it was loaded. Dude, you're pointing at me and you were shooting at me with a water pistol earlier. Man, you fucking shot my arm. Yeah, sure, we had time to actually think it over and have our weigh in. The little trivia that I got, and it's kind of weird because I don't hear anyone else talking about it. And it's well, it's right there. I mean, it's not earth-shattering, but on the same day that the Clean Energy Act went into effect in British Columbia, our premier at the time, Gordon Campbell, was not in British Columbia. Good old Gordy was off in Spain at the 58th annual Bilderberg closed-door meeting with the rich and the powerful, and none of them get to talk about what's covered at a Bilderberg meeting. It's like the ultimate fight club for rich people. Now, the Bilderbergs aren't necessarily, some kind of weird international Illuminati or anything. And to a certain point, it is actually just sort of a neat environment for people of means to be around our people who don't really give a rat's ass. It's okay, cool. I suppose since you have a few $1 million, you don't need my billions. Oh, okay, excellent. Let's talk about euchre or parcheesi or, I don't know, midget dwarf porn with Briere. But stuff does get discussed there. And with the Site-C Dam, the biggest contract has been awarded for almost $2 billion, and it'll probably swell. In fact, it's almost guaranteed to swell to probably double that, 3.4 or so by the time it's done, to Peace River Hydro Partners. Now, that's Samsung, Acciona, and Pacific Northwest, I think it is? No, not Pacific Northwest. Pacific something gas. They're the bit player. I mean, the big thing with them is that they were pretty well bankrupt until this came through. Oh, wow, that bodes really well for them coming in under budget. Oh, you're so talented. Samsung, Acciona, both of them, high-level bribery, corruption, all kinds of little scandals. Great, we've got these people actually playing with a couple $1 billion that we as BC residents have to pay off. Oh, so exciting. And, oh wait, Samsung. Isn't that the company where their people got sick and they wouldn't release the descriptions of the chemicals that they were exposed to in their factories that made them sick so the doctors could treat them? I really, really have so much faith in their motivations for building a dam that may or may not have an impact and may or may not have to hold up against whatever comes out when the dam upriver comes out. I think it's W.C. Bennett. Falling apart at the seams. Hudson Hope, gone. Fort St. John, not doing so well themselves. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if that happens. Why we're building a new dam when they could be fixing it. We'll leave that to speculation. By the way, it's like, okay, this image of Gordy Campbell, probably like about 5, 6 drinks in. Yay, I'm at a Bilderberg meeting. I don't think provincial premiers are actually like invited very often. And go figure, a lot of that particular focus of that particular meeting, I believe, was on the world energy future market, stuff like that. And I wonder if he actually talked to Emmanuel Entrecanales, the CEO of Acciona Spain, International, whatever. But he doesn't seem to like to clean house very much. Looking at pictures of him, I haven't actually looked at footage. He reminds me of Ricardo Montalban, Mr. Rourke from Fantasy Island. A certain kind of Latin that I actually don't really trust, even though sometimes people pull it off. And it's like pretty cool. I think they're usually half Persian or something, I don't know. That's not a racist comment, it's just acknowledging, styles. So anyways, I can't say that I actually trust that Gordy did not make a few extra deals there. They hadn't actually been making them a while before. The timing of him just getting to be invited to that particular meeting, on the same day that the act went in, okay, if it got stopped, would he have been allowed through the front door? That's speculative. And people can say, this is a really strange thing, and I've seen it progressing pretty much all my life, and it's accelerated in the last decade or two. Or maybe I'm just noticing it more. Well, what do you expect? They're businessmen. Grease a couple palms. That's how business is. Okay, that is how business is. We're dirty, cheating monkeys. But this is not like a regular business deal. This is our money, our future, and we were not consulted. And there's a very, very real chance that none of the motives ascribed for building this dam are anywhere near the reality. I mean, we don't have the rising power demand. It's flatlined, sometimes going down. If we're at all a sane technological civilization, the demand should stay steady or drop. That's one of the things that sucks about the free market economy, right? Yeah, you expect constant growth. Oh, geez, planned obsolescence. Okay, if you're doing planned obsolescence with electrical energy, that's a lot of waste heat. Waste heat is not a good thing right now, as far as we can tell, and besides, it's just freaking waste. We get a natural world, great complexity, lots of stability because it's not a homogenized monocrop tree farm like most of the so-called forests are once we've done replanting them. Yeah, okay, that's not really a forest, man. They're all in straight lines. We don't need the freaking power. If anyone else needs the power, we should ask them why they aren't conserving. Wendy Holm has a very interesting point about the North American Water and Power Agreement that basically, I believe as she put, the Peace River takes water east of the Rockies, and that exact point where they're going to be damming it is where you'd want the head or the initial part of a pipeline to take water down to the American Midwest, possibly California, etc. Yay. I'd be more into this idea, you're producing food and everything. Hey, we're all buddy-buddy. You still have golf courses where they're not supposed to be. And people were saying when white people and I guess Spanish people will count as white showed up, hey, you're going to try a farm here? No, it's going to get dry again. It was flat out told people, and they're still wasting water. That's one of the weird things I do find neat about the Muslims. I worked with one out here at UBC last year, and he gave me crap for running water. And it's what? And yeah, it was just about respecting the water, not a case of actually running out of water. This is actually a very wise thing. The person in question irritated the living daylights out of me. But then again, different folks, and actually increasingly, everyone irritates the daylights out of me. But when it comes to, back to the point, it is not business as usual when we're screwing around with this money. It's like, okay, cool, you're actually taking over money that we haven't even made yet, or as the case might be, had assigned to us because we're not really making it per se. We're entrusting you with like our freaking future, and you're not even telling us what's going on. It's like, okay, if I had kids and I had someone over to babysit, yeah, you do not get to sell my kids. You do not get to have sex with them. I wouldn't either, and hopefully most parents wouldn't. And I'm just guessing there. I'm not a parent, but I think that's a pretty safe bet. If I say you can have a sandwich, do not eat my entire freaking holiday turkey. I really need it. And by the way, it's kind of gross that you ate it raw like that. But hey, man, that's impressive. I'm still not having you back to babysit my kids. And I'm going to actually warn people to keep an eye on you, maybe have cameras or whatever. If we hear too many reports, let's do a sting and talk to the cops here, because you're a freak. And nothing wrong with freaks, mind you, but there's a specific kind of freak there. Guess what? We do not allow that to happen with our freaking politicians. They do not have all the power. We can vote them out. And we vote in a group where it's like, yeah, you're going to do some investigating, you're going to clean house, and you're going to police yourselves. Or the next time around, hey, we're actually going to consider some of these like right-wing fringe groups, and as long as we think they're going to be honest about it, we're going to have some fascists come into office in 4 years, and their job is going to be change the freaking laws, chase you down, extradite you, whatever, and you are going to freaking pay for what you do. So you better just like go after the previous government, keep your nose clean, be nice. And this is sort of a key thing, because it's like, okay, what's happening with the Site C Dam? One of the big ones, like, never mind the honor of the crown, or the fact, like, no, it's really freaking douchey to, like, be screwing up the First Nations any further. And I don't care what anyone says. It's like, they're not holding out for more money. They're getting enough money from their freaking pipelines up there, but they've also already had enough damage. We actually do need people who know how to live off the land, and we need land that people can live off of. We take out that little breadbasket, we screw up the water tables up there. We are now dependent on food that is imported for the rest of our lives, our children's lives. Unless we're getting into some kind of weird soylent algae, like throw our corpses in on the lower mainland, and like, hey, yeah, there's grandpa, like it's a new smoothie. That's making us fucking hostage forever. This is not acceptable. We need that land. We also need that diversity. We also need, I know, it's easy to write it off. We need the spiritual aspects of it. We need our honor. We need to know we're doing the right thing. It always blows my mind in Vancouver or anywhere else. We've got like certain companies, Goldcorp, that are pretty strongly tied to human rights abuses in our countries. We whine about Saudi Arabia, and definitely there's an issue on selling them like military vehicles. I don't care what you call them. It's like, no, the LAVs are freaking military vehicles, and they are going to be used against civilians and or neighboring people who are unfortunately targets for what I think is called, was it ethnic euthanasia or something like that? Whatever, sectarian wars in the Middle East. We're a part of that. We're supporting it. Okay, this is already feeling kind of bad. Okay, we're allowing companies to operate in Canada. They're screwing people up overseas. Okay, we're taught in school that we're so much better. Never mind the fact we're still screwing our First Nations, and we're actually screwing ourselves, and hey, tough luck. Okay, we're a place called The Village. That's what Canada means. We should be taking care of each other because a poor man shames us all. I believe that's an African proverb. I don't know which country in Africa. That's a big continent. I should actually learn more about it, and think I will. But this is not acceptable. If we have a company that's like doing this, I'm sorry. I don't care if you're working for them and you're happy and you're paying your fucking mortgage. You're a privy. You're an accessory to what's done. If they're operating a death squad, terror squad, whatever, if they're screwing over a little island, they're like evicting indigenous people from like their freaking like last 3,000 years of history, their entire like spirituality. You're displacing them and basically turning them into like victims. Okay, the strongest will survive. Guess what? Social Darwinism does not count. Kin selection, altruism is a big part of being human, and we spend a lot of time building our cultures so the psychopaths don't become dominant, because when that happens, they change the environment for themselves and things go to crap because they are not thinking past their own isolated lives. Yeah, there's some who are actually pretty nice. Like apparently a brain surgeon is a great one for a psychopath because he doesn't really care. He's not going to get the shakes. And he's got his like thing. He's looking out for number one. He does not want to screw up. But we do not let this stuff bide. Companies like screw people over, like really seriously, freeze their assets, take everything, impound them. It's like, no mercy, man. You are playing with like the Canadian identity. You're playing with what we are responsible for. You murder someone as a Canadian company, you're making me a murderer. If you're my government and you do it, same thing. I am not impressed by this. I'm pretty sure there's an interpretation we can find in the freaking Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Probably freedom of conscience and religion. But provincial election 2017. Get out there, vote. You are not done when the results come in. You are a part of choosing what happens. You hear a truth that's uncomfortable, you suck it up and you pass it on. Maybe you verify it a little bit better. Maybe you add to it. You try to keep to the truth, but you keep it going. Everybody knows. Cool. When enough people know, do something. It's the 21st century. Things are going to be getting freaking gnarly. This is just a fact. I don't care like how much you want to like say, yeah, the economy will grow forever. Guess what? The way the economy will grow forever, it's going to run out. And as near as I can tell, the best we'll have is, well, we'll be happily sedated halfway between 1984 and Brave New World. We'll probably have better video games because it'll be direct neural induction and we'll be vat-fed like fucking larvae. Whatever. That doesn't matter. What matters is what we are right now. We are the descendants of our ancestors. We are the ancestors of the future. We're pretty freaking big, just like every human being's ever been, but we have the capacity to be aware of it. Let's do it. Let's be human. Not just in our great ape. Hell. I'm not even sure we're the greatest of the apes. We sort of have an edge. Apparently we're the graceful apes, and we're pretty awesome. And there's no reason we can't be. Individually and collectively. So how about we start kicking some ass? Doesn't mean you have to quit your day job or neglect your kids. Good night.